Hello, everybody. It's Mike Kilgore with 3iSupply.net and Easy Nano Seal and Ninja Power Soft Wash. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3i Supply Surebond 1300. Now, there's a lot of debate, a lot of things that people are talking about what customers want and what customers need. There's a lot of contractors that are using, for instance, one type of product and saying this is what you want as a customer. We truly believe that you should have knowledge of multiple different products, and by having that knowledge of different products, you can give the customer what they want. And there are times when customers want that natural look. They just don't want the enhanced look. They really do not want a high gloss or a sheen that's across it. They just want to make sure they protect their pavers, but they want to keep the natural look. And that's where we like to use a product called Surebond 1300. It is a joint stabilizing sealer. It's a natural look matte finish, and we're starting to sell more and more of this product. As a matter of fact, we've got a pallet on the dock right now getting ready to go up to the Northeast. So we're really happy with this. This is what we offer whenever we have a customer that has, whether it be travertine or pavers or whatever it is that they're looking to seal, any type of hardscape, even on concrete. Some people like to seal concrete with the Surebond 1300 because it doesn't enhance it that's there. So, of course, we're partial to other products for sealing concrete, but we do recommend the Surebond 1300 depending on what they're trying to accomplish. So, what I'm going to do is very quickly go through kind of the benefits. There's some people that want all the details, and then there's some people that want just, hey, just tell me what this thing does. Just give me the quick bang, 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 bang. So in this video, I'm going to give you the quick bang, 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 and then we're going to kind of break off a little bit and give you more of the details so you can see what you want to see and invest whatever time that you want to on that. So I'm going to get this kind of up and going, and let's see here. Get it ready. All right. I think we're all set here. So we've got a few people that have joined in on us, and we've got a couple of live viewers that are involved. So anyway, what I'm going to show you here is basically this is it. This is the Surebond 1300 joint stabilizing sealer. It is a white liquid. It is a water base. It's got a really pleasant smell. As I tell people, it smells like $100 bills. Actually, no, it's got a nice smell to it. It's easy to on your nose. So, like I said, it is a water base. The key pieces behind Surebond 1300 is that it preserves and protects natural surface tones. So what that means in a fancy way is it's going to keep it natural looking. It's not going to give it the enhancements that are involved with it, but it's going to help preserve that. It's going to protect against, it provides water and salt and stain protection as well as UV protection. It will bond joint sands and reduce sand loss. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get into the detailed section of 1300, but it does bond the joint very, very well. I tell you, it does get rock hard with it. So we really enjoy that. It does inhibit weed growth and insect infestation, where you have some of those ants that are going through and creating those mounds that are coming up through. We have a lot of that here in Florida, as well as I know up north there's a lot of people that have that too. And it does promote easier cleaning. It does, like I said, inhibits weed growth and insect infestation. It promotes easier cleaning and maintenance. So once you have this down, it does make it easier for you to come back and clean again. One of the things about a water base and about this product specifically is that it is a breathable and immediate application water-based sealer. So you can put this down. It is breathable, even though we do suggest, and this is for us when you put down new paper pavers. I like to give it at least 30 days, have someone watering it kind of every day to get it to kind of release some of the efflorescence out of it there, and get it to kind of cure down a little bit. But you can put it on immediate application. It is a breathable sealer. So so that's kind of the basic concept. Again, it does not enhance. It is a water base. You can apply it with a pump sprayer. You can apply it with a 12 volt. You can apply it with your hands. You can sprinkle it. I don't suggest doing it that way. But you can, again, use a pump sprayer. You can use a 12 volt. Some people will use air systems to apply it there. So there's a lot of new people that are out making different types of carts, but most of them are based on a 12 volt system. Our system is based on a 2.2 gallon pump that we get at Northern Tools, and just spray it on. It really makes it simple. So let's go into some of the details. I'm going to go into the uses of this, and a lot of this stuff I'm going to be reading right from the label, so that you can get kind of a basic idea. A lot of this information is going to be below inside of the product itself, and when I say below, because we post this video inside of our program or inside of our website underneath the product itself. So the uses, and like I said, it's ideal for clay pavers, decorative or plain concrete, masonry, natural manufactured stone, unglazed tile, and terrazzo. There's different types of natural stone and clay products. So, you always got to make sure that you test a section prior, especially when it comes down to those types of situations. So that's primarily what the usage is for. Again, we use it for pavers all the time, and travertine. Somebody wants that natural look, and they're looking to stabilize the joints in the travertine, and that's the most important part. Is that they want the natural look, but yet they want to also stabilize that joints inside of there to keep from weed growth and to help prevent that, and to also make sure that they don't get washed out of the sand that's there. So the coverage. So let's talk about coverages of this now. They talk about different types of coverages. If you're not trying to do joint stabilization with sand, then you're looking at almost close to around 1,000 square feet per 5 gallon bucket if you're not trying to do any joint stabilization. Now, typically where we're at and what we find with the joint levels, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute, is that we're around 800, between 600 and 800. It recommends around 600 square feet per 5 gallon buckets. So so that way you have enough there to be able to flood the joints. So that's the recommended amount there. I see that sometimes it goes a little bit further, but we try to stay close to that recommended amount between that 600 and 800 for joint stabilization there. Now, let's talk about, that's the coverage of it there. Let's talk about preparation. Preparation is very important to make sure that you thoroughly clean the surface. And make sure that you rinse it from any residue that's there. There's a lot of people that like to do post treatments when they get done with. I do post treatments too on certain situations, but you want to make sure that you rinse that area really, really well and get any type of debris or any type of leftover product off of there, so that you can seal it and make sure it looks good. Of course, then you want to sand, and we'll talk about the sanding too here in this section here of the preparation. So let it dry. Now on the label itself, it says to let it dry for a minimum of 24 hours. So I'm reading directly from the manufacturer's point of view of what they want you to do. You can spray this down. I've done this in a 1-day application, clean in the morning, go grab a little bit of lunch. I like to let it dry out. Depends on what your humidity looks like. But you can put this down onto a wet surface. Again, you don't want to put this down onto a flooded surface with tons of water all over the place, but you really want to let it dry out and let it dry, but it doesn't have to be bone dry like when you're putting down a solvent base. Now, for optimal joint stabilization, it says that it should, the joint shouldn't be more than 3/4 of an inch wide. Now, I didn't bring two of these, so I'm going to use kind of a box here. Basically, what we're saying here is in that gap, you're looking at probably, I don't know if you can see that or not, about 3/4 of an inch. That's the gap that you're looking for. I had to use this box. But what it also talks about is that your sand joint. Now, we've talked about this before in sand, which is another video that's there that we talked about with the sand. So I'm going to show this to you guys again. Now, this one I had to remake again because my father stole the one that had the black pins on it here. This is the level where sand is supposed to be. Okay, so this is where the bevel side of it is. This is the line that's around the outside. Your sand level should be right here. That's saying that it's supposed to be about 1/8 of an inch. Now, I don't have a super fine marker, but this is to give you basically an idea that this is where your sand level is supposed to be, not all the way up here to the top. Okay, not this area up here. So you don't want to over sand. The idea is to get it into this level right here. Let's see if we can hold this up a little bit higher there. I see the sign that's there, right? Okay. So making sure that your sand level is at this. Now, people use wet sanding techniques. They use dry sanding techniques. And so you want to blow off any of the residue that's on top of these pavers, whether you sweep it off, blow it off, but just get it off. Because if you put that sealer down on top of it, you're going to actually seal those grains of sand on top of it. Now, typically what we do when we dry sand is we get the sand down to the level that we want it there. We blow it out to a side, and then we vacuum it up with a wet sand, with a wet vac. And that allows us to be able to get all those and then blow it all off. And it does a pretty good job. Of course, wet sanding is what we also do too. So you can see that's where the line's supposed to be. So let me turn this on here. Okay. All right. So, so obviously filling it up with sand, and then you want to. We'll go into the application of it here. So, let's go into application. I guess I didn't write application on there, so I'm going to actually hide this. Let's see here. I'm going to put. Here we go. All right. So let's talk about application. Now, the best time to apply sealer is between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It seemed like yesterday it was 95 degrees when we woke up, and it was 95 degrees when we went down. Of course, we're in Tampa, Florida, so it's really hot. That's there. So basically, there's two times that the best time to and this is my own opinion, the best time to put down sealers when the temperatures are dropping. When temperatures drop, that's when concrete, and that's when pavers actually are gassing in. So that's when you're going to have the substrate's going to actually draw a little bit harder. So when temperatures are dropping, that's when they're gassing in. When the temperatures are rising, that's when they're gassing out. So we always suggest doing it when it's gassing in and the temperatures are dropping there. So there is no mixing required. You don't have to mix part A to part B. It all comes in a 5-gallon jug here. Let's see here, 45 pounds. Right here. There it is. Nice little beautiful thing here. There it is. Get my level up. There it is. 5-gallon bucket. So basically, I'll just shake it up real good, roll it around, throw it down some steps. I'm kidding. We don't do that. But get it all mixed up. You can easily take off the top of this bucket too. It does have a tearaway top, so it has a reeky spout on the top so that you're able to pour it. If you're going to 103 degrees for Jamie Schmidt out there, it does have a reeky spout. If you're going to pour from the reeky spout, some guys don't know this little trick, so I'm going to throw it onto you here. You're going to see. Here's a bucket, right? Here's your spout. right? That's up here. We're going to tip you over and pour you out. I'm not going to sing that song. But for some guys, I'm going to talk that they pour it this direction. And if you pour it this direction, that's when you start getting the glug, 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 right? But if you'll take that bucket, and I know a lot of you veterans know this, turn it around and pour it from the top this way. See how it's on the top? Pour it this way. It'll pour out nice and easy all the way from the top to the bottom. Once you get down the bottom, you can switch it around. But if you pour it from the top this way into a bucket, if you choose to. Now, a lot of people will spray right out of that bucket. You'll eliminate a lot of that blub, 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 blub kind of stuff that makes it fling all over the place. So what we'll do is we'll take this, we'll tear off, there's a little tear off tab that's right here, pull it off, and then we'll stick down a blender into it and blend it up just a little bit with a drill, just to make sure it's nice and evenly blend up there. So then we'll drop our tube into it, and we use a 12-volt sprayer, 2.2 gallon and a 1 gallon per minute. Just depends on where we're at and what we're doing. Big projects, we'll use a 2.2. Smaller projects, we really like the we like the smaller pumps that are there, and we like the 2 gallon per minute. 2 gallon per minute tips that we use there. We also use the Chapin sprayer tips that are there. So, so let's continue on here. Now, do not dilute this. Do not add water to it. This is ready to go. This is ready to happen. So don't dilute it. Don't add water to it. It's ready to go inside the package, inside the way that it's put together there. So now you can spray it down. Again, pump sprayer, 12 volts, however you choose to put it down. Some people, like I said, are using air diaphragm pumps, and so you can just put it on there. Now, the idea is for stabilization of joints, sand joints, and interlocking pavers. You want to flood it. So this is I tell people it's not like a super flood, but you definitely want to make sure that you put plenty of it down. And when you're spraying, and then you can back roll it or use a squeegee to pull off the excess off the top of the pavers and make sure that it gets down into the joints. Now, when you see that the dry time, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit, that you want to make sure that you put enough product down to be able to stabilize deep down into those joints, because you want to make sure that it gets down deep inside here. So you want to put down enough product. Again, when you're in between that 500, 600, 700 range for joint stabilization, that will work. Now, with a squeegee, you can remove that access that's off of there. And 1300 is a single application product, so you don't have to do 2, 3, 4 coats. Now, you can do that, but realize that the more coats that you put down onto it, the more that you're going to increase the sheen onto it. And the idea is to give it a matte finish. See right here, matte finish. So if you start stacking up the mills on top of it, it can get slippery. So you got to be careful with that so that it doesn't do that. So now we're going to talk about longevity of it. Again, this is a really touchy, different type of question. Certain, obviously there's a lot of different variations that happen to determine how long a product's going to last. What I can tell you is that from the manufacturer itself, and I'm going to read it straight from you, and it's on here, is that reapplications may need to be carried out every 2 to 3 years, depending on exposure. Okay, so that's not a guarantee. That's not a warranty. That's not saying that this is going to last 2 to 3 to however many years. This is saying this is what the manufacturer is saying, that if you follow these guidelines and you follow them to the T, you should expect to get between 2 and 3 years, depending on the exposure that's going on to it. So, some places have tons of exposure and it could last less. Now, let's talk about dry time. the surface will be dry in about 60 minutes. Now that's based on temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees with a 50% relative humidity. Now in Florida, we've never seen 50% relative humidity except for maybe 2 days out of the year. Now out in Arizona, they've got no humidity. It can dry a whole lot quicker. So based on that low surface air temperature or high relative humidity, so if you're getting down into that 40 degrees or you're getting up into some super high humidity, then realize that that's going to extend the dry time. Okay, so you want to obviously protect the surface from dust and rain, condensation, and driving while driving. So don't let people dry on it. Now it's saying right here on the product itself, says area can be open to foot and vehicular traffic in 24 hours depending on site condition. Now I've opened it up a little bit before, but basically as a rule of thumb, you should just tell them to stay off. It's really good to put a banner around the product, around the area itself. And by having that blocked off and just telling them, look, just, you know, 1 day is what we want you to stay off of it from, so that it has a good opportunity to clear, to cure. So it's important to make sure that we give you as much information as we possibly can on different products. Surebond 1300 is a go-to when it comes to joint stabilizing sealer, but you want that natural look, that matte finish, that natural where, you know, the pavers look as if they were, but they're going to be sealed and look good. So we've been very happy with this product, and we're going to continue to sell this product. And if you have any questions whatsoever, give us a call. Come to the website. Come check us out. I'm here to help any way that I can possibly can. Shoot me a text. Shoot me a message. Put up a smoke screen. Anything we can do. 3i Supply, Mike Kilgore. And if you need anything, give us a call. 3isupply.net, 727-388-4969. That's Mike Kilgore at 3isupply.net, 727-388-4969. You guys have a fantastic day, and good luck.